In this video, I will quickly show you how to use the Waylay platform. You will be able to follow me step by step, but we will not go into very much detail. Therefore, I encourage you to check out our Waylay Basics video course or our documentation after watching this. When you first log in, you will see something similar to this page. Here you will find some quick links to interesting places on the platform and tutorials to learn about them. Now let's say we have a physical temperature sensor and we want the system to notify us when the temperature gets too high, 34 degrees Celsius for example. Firstly, we want to receive this temperature data into the system. We could do this by hooking up one of the data ingestion systems, but for demonstration purposes, we will simulate the data coming in. This way you can follow along even if you don't have a physical temperature sensor. Let's navigate to the resource overview and select Add Resource. I will name the resource Weather Station and ignore the other settings for now. With our newly created resource, let's push some data to it. Select Send Message and a pop-up editor will appear. Here we are able to define a JSON message that will be sent to our resource. So open the curly brackets, then specify the metric name temperature in double quotes, followed by a colon and the value we want to send. I'll take a value of 22. Press Send and we should be able to view the message in the data section under Messages. In the metric section, we should see the temperature metric and its value too. Okay, we have our resource and know how to push mock data to it. Let's start creating a rule that will be able to notify us when the temperature exceeds a certain threshold. First, navigate to the Template section. From here, select Add Template. This will bring us to an empty template editor. On the left, we have a list of all sensors and logical gates we can use in a rule. On the right side, we build the actual rule. First, we will find the stream sensor and simply drag it onto the rules canvas. This sensor will trigger from the moment data comes in for a certain resource, and then gives us all parameters in that message. Each template can be initiated as a task for a certain resource. This way you are able to use one template for multiple resources. When we highlight the stream sensor, you can see its parameters on the right side here. There will be an input field called bound resource. This specifies the resource that will trigger this sensor from the moment it receives new data. If we use the $sign as input here, it will tell Waylay's rule engine that we want to use the same resource as the one bound to the task. So let's do that. As we can see here, a sensor can have two different triggers, on tick and on data. Since we want to run our stream sensor when data is coming in, let's enable that one and disable the on tick trigger. Now is a good time to test what we already have configured and run our template in debug mode. To do this, click on the arrow in the upper right hand corner and select Reactive as the task type. As the bound resource, let's select our Weather Station and then start debug. I'll go back to the resource in a different browser tab. Now let's push a new data message with some temperature data. Switching back to our template, we see that the stream sensor now is in the data state, which means that the sensor has been evaluated and received data. If we look at the logs here on the bottom of the screen, we can even see what the incoming data looks like. Let's stop debugging for now and continue building our rule. We want to throw an alarm from the moment the temperature crosses 34 degrees Celsius. To do this, we are going to use a condition sensor. This sensor checks a simple condition and then reflects that in a true or false state. As condition for this sensor, we use something called declarative binding. This binds values at runtime. First, click the button next to the parameter field to open up a separate editor. Let's put in $sign, open the curly brackets, nodes.stream_1.rawdata.stream.temperature. The autocomplete should help us out here. And then close the curly brackets. At runtime, this will represent the temperature value we get from the stream sensor. Now all we have to do is check whether this value is higher or equal to 34 and press save. To execute this condition sensor from the moment the stream sensor has data, we connect the stream sensor's data state to the condition sensor. Now each time the stream sensor gets into this state, the condition sensor will be executed. To throw an alarm, we will make use of the create alarm sensor. Find and drag it onto the rules canvas. Let's select a major severity, and as type we fill in heat. For the resource we again use declarative binding. This time fill in $, open the brackets, task.resource, close the brackets, with resource in all caps. This will be replaced by the resource's ID at runtime. We want to throw this alarm when the condition sensor is in the true state, so let's connect those. And now our template is done. We can quickly run the debugger and push some data to see if all the sensors behave correctly. First, I'll push some temperature data that would not trigger the alarm. We see that the condition sensor does not get into the true state, so the alarm sensor is not triggered. If we push a temperature above 34 degrees though, we see that the alarm sensor is executed. And if we now go and look at our resource, we will see that an alarm is indeed thrown. Now that we validated our template, let's deploy a task from it. First, save the template. I will call mine heat detection. From this new screen, we can select create task. Give the task a name. I'll call it weather station heat detection. Bind our weather station resource, set the task type to reactive, and then confirm by selecting create task. We will be taken to the task view where we can monitor the task as it is running live. So as new data comes in, we can view the states of each sensor over here. This was a quick introduction to the Waylay platform. To get more in-depth information on all the topics seen in this video, please refer to our video courses and documentation. If you have any questions or problems, don't hesitate to post something on our forums. Join me in future videos as we keep exploring the Waylay platform and its features.